One of the deadliest days in American history happened yesterday with more than 3,000 people dead from this pandemic. We'll likely see another day like that today. The president is completely abdicating his responsibility, and all this was just utterly foreseeable. Every Republican member, every staffer, everyone who's in a think tank, all the people that write for conservative publications, all of them, they all knew what they were dealing with from day one. But they got their judges and their tax cuts. So who cares? Lots of people die. What are you going to do? It's in the bargain. Congressman Adam Schiff, the lead impeachment manager in the Senate trial of Donald Trump, flat out told us this at the start of this very year.
You can't trust this president to do the right thing, not for 1 minute, not for one election, not for the sake of our country. You just can't. He will not change, and you know it.
And now more than 325,000 Americans are dead, the deadliest year in history. But Amy Coney Barrett's on the Supreme Court, lots of judges, corporate tax rate's down. So if you're Mitch McConnell or Marco Rubio or any of those people, you know, good deal. And look, maybe the government collapses. Maybe people don't get their relief checks. They start getting kicked out of their apartments. Their unemployment expires the day after Christmas. But this was all part of the bargain. Jake Sherman has been following all this very closely. He's a senior writer at Politico, co-author of the must-read Playbook newsletter, and he joins me now. Let's take this in order. The NDAA, he threatened to veto. No one knew if he would. Did they know that was coming today when it was announced at around 4 o'clock or so that he had, in fact, vetoed it?
They did, Chris, and thanks for having me as always, but they did for many reasons, not least this was the last day he could actually veto it. It would have automatically gone into law, one of those weird quirks. So today was the last day he could veto it, and he did. And there was some theory bouncing around D.C., Chris, that I never really understood and extended to New York and to Wall Street, where people said, oh, he's not going to veto it at the end of the day, despite saying he's going to veto it. And he said it consistently for weeks at a time because he wanted it to include unrelated social media law, change it to Section 230, which had no place in this bill. But that's why, if I could bring this full circle to what you were saying before, I mean, if the president is saying what he's saying now, which is, I don't like this bill that my administration negotiated with Congress, why should we think that he's not going to veto it? I mean, maybe he doesn't veto it, but I'm not convinced. I've seen no evidence that he's not going to veto it.
Right. I mean, the other thing about the veto threat on the COVID relief bill, which, again, like, he was totally absent from these negotiations, wrote in at the last second to blow it up. The veto threat to me also seems as like the Occam's razor is that he's screwing Mitch McConnell. The day before he issues this, they send out this preposterous one-page email that Mitch McConnell has betrayed him and got off the Trump train too early because Mitch McConnell acknowledged Joe Biden is the winner of the election. This screws Mitch McConnell. It screws Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, which is all Mitch McConnell cares about because they were out there celebrating this bill the president now just said is garbage. It just seems like that's probably what's going on first and foremost here.
It is. I mean, listen, to get into the nitty gritty, I mean, the House of Representatives can likely, most likely, almost certainly pass some sort of bill with a $2,000 direct payment. There's almost no question in my mind about that, number one. But can the Senate do it? I don't think so. Is Mitch McConnell going to be forced to do it? I don't know. But it gets stuck in his lap. And you're right, he gets screwed. And Chris, I hate to be dour here. I hate to be dark. I just don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that I think we might be entering a prolonged government shutdown. I maybe am being alarmist, but I've covered this now for more than a decade. I've been through a lot of legislative crises with this president and previous presidents and previous Congresses. I just don't know how he gets. The only way out of this one is for the president to sign this package. Period. And he doesn't appear to be heading in that direction right now. And I don't know what will change his mind, because what is really bothering him is that the Republicans on Capitol Hill are no longer willing to say he's president and are now willing to say Joe Biden's president. That's not going to change. So I'm not sure what dynamic is going to change that is going to have him sign this bill, which he's now saying is full of pork and includes policies he doesn't like and doesn't include the checks that he wants. And you said it, I'll make one last point here, Chris. you said this well. If he was in the negotiations, he would have gotten those $2,000 checks. That was a medium-sized ask. But as Nancy Pelosi has said, he didn't participate, and his representatives did not say what size checks he wanted. So,
no. He was full-time in the Hunter Biden laptop negotiations, not in the get people who are desperately needing relief negotiations. Jake Sherman, thank you so much. You've been doing great reporting on this, and thanks for making time for us tonight.
Appreciate it.